I am going to tell you something today that no one in your church, your synagogue, your family, or your circle of friends has ever dared to say to your face. You are not poor because of the economy. You are not struggling because of bad luck. You are not in debt because God forgot about you. You are in a financial covenant, a legally binding spiritual contract with poverty itself. And you signed it yourself with your own mouth every single day. I am Rabbi Shimon. I am 83 years old. I have sat with kings and with beggars. I have studied the Torah for over 6 decades in Jerusalem, in New York, in the study halls of the greatest yeshivas in the world. And what I am about to reveal to you today has been encoded in the ancient Hebrew scriptures for 3,000 years. The rabbis knew it. The Kabbalistic masters guarded it. And somehow, it never made it into your Sunday school class, because if they had taught you this one principle, you would have stopped being poor a long time ago. In the Torah, in the very book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 14, God speaks these words. The word is very near to you. It is in your mouth and in your heart, so that you can do it. The original Hebrew word used here is davar, and davar does not simply mean word. Davar means word, thing, and matter simultaneously. In the Hebrew mind, a spoken word and a created reality are the same substance. What you say, you build. What you declare, you construct. What you confess, you call into existence. This is not poetry. This is Torah law. And the ancient rabbis understood something that has been lost in modern religion. They understood that the human mouth is not merely a tool for communication. It is a court of creation. Every sentence you speak enters what the Kabbalists call the heavenly court, the Beit Din Shel Mala, and is recorded as a legal document, a contract, a binding agreement between you and the spiritual forces that govern your material world. You have been signing contracts with poverty for years, and tonight we are going to cancel every single one of them. Before we go any further, I need you to stop right now and type the word Baruch in the comments below. Not because it is a tradition, because Baruch means blessed. And the moment you write that word, you are making your first declaration that the old contracts are done. You are saying with your mouth, I am blessed. I choose blessing. The old agreements are void. Type Baruch right now and press the like button, because every like tells YouTube to show this ancient truth to someone else who is drowning tonight and doesn't know why. Subscribe to this channel. What I am releasing here is not content. It is covenant wisdom for a generation in crisis. Now let me take you somewhere. Close your eyes for just a moment in your imagination. I want you to see this clearly. It is 3,000 years ago, the Sinai Desert. The air smells of dust and acacia wood and burning cedar. The sun is ferocious and the ground under your sandaled feet is cracked and bone dry. Moses stands before 2 million people who have just been freed from Egypt, from the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. And what is the first thing God tells Moses to teach them? What is the very first law given before the laws of Shabbat, before the dietary laws, before anything else? Watch your mouth. In Leviticus chapter 5, God establishes something the ancient rabbis called the law of Bitui Sefatayim, the law of the utterance of the lips. God says plainly, if you speak it, it is binding. If you confess it, it is covenant. The spoken word was so legally serious in the Torah that certain careless declarations required an animal sacrifice to undo. The priests would lay their hands on the offering and confess, "I spoke this into existence over my life. I am releasing it now through blood." That is how seriously God treats what comes out of your mouth. And here you are, speaking 5 specific phrases, 5 spiritually catastrophic sentences without even thinking about them, using them like small talk, using them like humor, using them like honesty, while the heavenly court records every word as a signed and sealed decree against your own financial destiny. I am going to show you each one, and I need you to listen very carefully, because some of these phrases you will recognize immediately. You said one of them this week, maybe this morning. The first phrase, listen closely, "I can't afford it." I know, it sounds honest. It sounds like just stating the facts. But I want you to hear what you are actually saying in the spiritual realm. When those 4 words leave your mouth, you are not describing your current bank balance. You are declaring your permanent identity. In Hebrew, the word for I, anochi, carries the weight of one's entire being, one's essence, one's divine assignment. When you say, "I cannot," you are not reporting a temporary condition. You are speaking a decree over the full nature of who you are. The great Maimonides, the Rambam, one of the wisest Torah scholars who ever lived, once said, "The tongue has the power to build worlds and to destroy worlds. For the word that leaves the mouth does not simply travel through the air, it enters the fabric of creation itself." I heard this teaching when I was a young student of 22, and I wept, because I suddenly understood how many worlds I had already destroyed with my own careless mouth. When you say, "I can't afford it," you are filing a legal declaration in the heavenly court that reads, "I, your name, do hereby testify that I am a person defined by lack. I lack now. I will continue to lack. My nature is insufficiency." And the court, because it honors free will, because it takes your word seriously, says so be it. Stop saying, "I can't afford it." Replace it, starting today, starting this hour, with, "It is not my priority right now," or "I am in the process of building my abundance." Do you feel the difference? One is a declaration of permanent poverty. The other is a declaration of movement, of direction, of becoming. The second phrase. And this one, I need you to brace yourself for, because this one is destroying Christian and Jewish families at the same rate. Money is the root of all evil. I have heard this in churches across America. I have heard it from good people, sincere people, people who love God. And every time I hear it, something inside me grieves, because what they are actually quoting and getting wrong is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. And the actual text does not say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money, the worship of it, the idolization of it, is a root of all kinds of evil. Money itself in Torah law is called a bracha, a blessing. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 22 says it plainly. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. The Hebrew word for wealth, osher, shares its root with the word for happiness and with the word for moving forward. Wealth in the Torah is not a spiritual danger. It is a spiritual tool. It is the resource through which you feed the hungry, educate your children, build houses of worship, and fulfill your God-given purpose on this earth. When you say money is the root of all evil, even as a passing comment, even as a joke, you are making a spiritual declaration that you want nothing to do with evil. And since your subconscious mind and the heavenly court have just heard you declare that money equals evil, you will spend the rest of your life unconsciously repelling every financial opportunity that comes near you. Your spirit will sabotage promotions. Your mind will find reasons to avoid investments. Your soul will push away generosity shown to you, because deep inside you have declared that abundance is dangerous, that prosperity is sin, that God and wealth cannot coexist. This is one of the most destructive theological lies ever spoken, and you have been repeating it without knowing it was a contract. Tear it up today. Never say it again. Say instead, God's blessing makes me rich, and he adds no sorrow to it. Say it like you mean it, because it is scripture, it is true, and every time you speak it, you are rewriting the contract. Now, before I give you the third phrase, I need you to do something right now. Stop the video for 1 second. Type the word shalom in the comments below, not as a formality, as a declaration. Shalom does not merely mean peace. The ancient rabbis taught that shalom encompasses completeness, wholeness, the state of having nothing missing and nothing broken. When you type shalom, you are declaring, I am whole. My finances are whole. My family is whole. My destiny is unbroken. Type it now, and then keep watching. Because the next 3 phrases are the ones that have held you in chains the longest. The third phrase, you have said this more times than you can count. I never have enough. I want you to understand something about how the laws of creation work in Kabbalistic teaching. There is a concept called Tzimtzum, the divine contraction. God, whose essence fills all existence, contracted himself to create space for the world. And into that space, he poured 10 divine vessels, the Sephirot, through which all blessing flows downward into physical reality. The vessel that governs financial abundance is called Netzach, eternity, endurance, infinite flow. But here is the critical teaching. Those vessels can only receive what they have been told they are capable of holding. And your daily declarations are the measurements you give them. When you say, I never have enough, you are telling the divine vessel assigned to your financial life, you are small, you are insufficient, you cannot hold very much for me. And the vessel which is responsive, which is alive in the spirit, contracts to match your declaration. It becomes exactly as small as you have told it to be. Rabbi Akiva, the great martyr of Israel, who began his Torah studies at the age of 40, with nothing, who went on to become the greatest scholar of his generation, once taught his students this: do not say, I cannot, for the Almighty did not create cannot. He created not yet. And when I heard this teaching for the first time sitting in a small study hall in Bnei Brak, I understood that poverty is almost never a material problem. It is always first a language problem. Stop saying, I never have enough. Replace it with this declaration, and write this down on paper and put it somewhere you will see it every morning. My God supplies all my needs according to his riches in glory. That is Philippians chapter 4, verse 19. That is a legal counter-declaration. That is, you rewriting the contract in real time. The fourth phrase, And this one is perhaps the most heartbreaking of all, because you often say it when you are at your lowest, when you have been disappointed, when someone showed you something better, and you instinctively retreated into this familiar, terrible sentence. I don't deserve this. Oh, my friend. Oh, my beloved friend. Let me be very gentle with you here and very direct at the same time. The Torah has a word tzelem. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, God says, "So God created man in his own image, but Salmo in his tzelem." The tzelem of God. You were not created in the vague likeness of a distant deity. You were created as a direct reflection, a precise spiritual image of the Creator of all abundance, all wealth, all provision, all existence. You carry within you the divine DNA of the one who spoke the universe into being. And you are sitting there telling me you don't deserve good things. Let me tell you what happens in the spiritual realm when you say those words. You are not being humble. Humility in Torah is not self-erasure. The Hebrew word for humility is anavah, and anavah means knowing your true place in the divine order, not less than you are, not more, but exactly, precisely, accurately who you are in God's creation. When Moses is called the most humble man who ever lived, it does not mean he thought nothing of himself. It means he saw himself exactly as God saw him. No inflation, no deflation. When you say, "I don't deserve this," you are not being humble. You are disagreeing with God. You are contradicting the tzelem. You are calling God's design a mistake. And the heavenly court records that contradiction and honors it, because God will not force his blessing on someone who has legally declared they are unworthy of receiving it. The Baal Shem Tov, the great founder of Hasidic Judaism, one of the holiest men who ever walked this earth, once said, "The world was created for my sake." When his students heard this, they were shocked. It sounded arrogant. He looked at them and explained, God does not create what he does not intend to sustain. If you exist, it is because heaven needs you here. And if heaven needs you here, everything required for your purpose has already been prepared. You were not born to barely survive. You were not created to spend your life apologizing for wanting more. The lack of abundance in your life is not a sign of your spiritual smallness. It is the direct result of declarations you have made that contradict the purpose for which you were designed. Say this out loud right now, wherever you are watching. Say it out loud. I am created in the image of God. I am worthy of every blessing he has prepared for me. I receive it now. Say it, even if it feels strange. Even if a voice in your head says you're being arrogant. That voice is the poverty spirit, and it is afraid of what you just declared. Now, the fifth phrase, the last one. And I have saved this one for last because it is the most ancient, the most insidious, and the one that the rabbis of the Talmud specifically warned against in the Tractate of Shabbat, page 118. Things never change for me. Or you might say it as, this is just my luck. Or, nothing ever works out for me. In the original Hebrew understanding of time, there is no such thing as a permanent present. The Hebrew language has no simple present tense. In Hebrew, everything is either in the process of becoming or in the process of passing away. There is no frozen moment. There is no sealed fate. The very grammar of the language in which God chose to write his Torah declares stasis is an illusion. Everything moves. Everything shifts. Everything is capable of transformation. The Kabbalists have a teaching about this that will shake you to your foundation. They say that every human being exists within a spiral of time called a Gilgul, a turning, a revolution. And within each revolution, there are appointed moments called Ittim, divine windows, divinely scheduled openings in the fabric of reality. When heaven holds its breath, when the gates of transformation crack open, and when a single act of faith, a single declaration of the mouth, a single cry of, "I believe this is my moment," can launch a person from one level of existence to an entirely different one. When you say, "Things never change for me," you are spiritually bolting shut every one of those divine windows. You are telling heaven, "Don't bother. I have already decided the outcome. I am not available for transformation. I have given up on my Ittim." And heaven, which honors free will above almost everything, steps back. I need to tell you something right now. I am speaking to someone watching this today who has said that exact phrase this week. Maybe yesterday, maybe this morning. You woke up and you looked at your bank account or your bills or your empty relationship or your sick body and you whispered it. Maybe you didn't even say it out loud. You just thought it, "Nothing ever changes for me." I need you to hear me right now. Not as a YouTube rabbi, as a grandfather who has seen too many people die believing a lie that was not true. It is not over. Your appointed time has not passed. The window is not closed. The fact that you clicked on this video today, the fact that this teaching found you on this specific day, is not an accident. In the Torah, there are no coincidences. The Hebrew word bitashon means trust, not wishful thinking, not desperate hoping, but the absolute settled bedrock certainty that the God who spoke the stars into place is personally, actively, specifically working in the details of your financial life right now. This is your Ittim. This is your window. And what you say in the next 24 hours will determine whether you walk through it or walk away from it. Here is what I want you to do. And I want you to do all three of these things because 3 is the number of covenant in Torah. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, 3 patriarchs. 3 pillars of every divine promise. 3 days to build the new contract. First, tonight, before you sleep, take a piece of paper. Not your phone. Paper. Write down each of the 5 phrases I have given you today. Write them down plainly. And then draw a single line through each one. As you draw that line, say out loud, "This contract is canceled. I renounce this agreement in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This word no longer represents me. I am free from this covenant." Then, on the other side of that paper, write 5 replacement declarations. Write them in the first person, present tense. God supplies all my needs abundantly. I receive every blessing prepared for me. My season of breakthrough is now. I am worthy of overflow. Everything is changing in my favor beginning today. Fold that paper and put it somewhere. You will see it every morning. Your bathroom mirror, your wallet, your refrigerator door. Second, for 3 consecutive days, I want you to speak these 5 declarations out loud every morning before you eat, before you look at your phone, before you speak to another human being. Let them be the first words of your day. Let them be the first contract you sign each morning. because the enemy knows that whoever controls the first words of your day controls the spiritual atmosphere of everything that follows. Third, on the third day, I want you to practice what the Torah calls tzedakah, righteous generosity. Give something, even a small something, to someone who needs it, to a ministry, to a stranger, to a cause. Because in the Kabbalah, tzedakah is not charity. It is the spiritual act of declaring I am not a person of lack. I have enough to give. And I trust that what I release will return to me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, as Luke chapter 6, verse 38 promises. This 3-day pattern is ancient. It is the same pattern by which Jonah spent 3 days before his transformation, the same pattern by which Esther fasted for 3 days before her breakthrough, the same 3-day cycle that marks every major turning point in Scripture. The God who designed this universe encoded a 3-day transformation principle into the very fabric of creation. And it is available to you starting tonight. Now, I want to speak directly to someone. I know who you are. I don't know your name, but I see you. The God who sees you has placed something on my heart for you right now. Someone watching this today has been carrying a burden of shame around money for so long that you have started to believe it is your personality. You think, I'm just not good with money. You think wealth is for other people. You have watched others prosper and quietly, secretly believed there was something wrong with you. Not with your effort, not with your intelligence, with you, essentially spiritually at your core. I am telling you, as someone who has walked this earth for 83 years and has seen the hand of God move in the most impossible financial situations, that shame is a lie. That belief is a contract. And today, in this moment, the grace of heaven is canceling it. Your breakthrough has already been prepared. In the Talmud, it is written, and this teaching has stayed with me for 60 years, that 40 days before a child is born, a heavenly voice announces the name of their destined partner, their destined home, their destined purpose, and their destined provision. Your abundance was announced before you took your first breath. It exists. It is real. It is yours. The only thing that has ever separated you from it is the language you have been speaking over your own life. Today, the language changes. Right now, in this moment, as you watch, this heaven is shifting for you. The ancient gates of bracha, of blessing, are beginning to open. Not because of anything you have done, but because of what you are about to do. Because you have heard the truth, and you have chosen not to dismiss it. Because something deep inside you recognized these words. Because your spirit remembered what your circumstances made you forget. This is your moment. This is your turning. I want to close with a blessing over you, and I want you to receive this not as words on a screen, but as a priestly declaration spoken from the depths of 6 decades of prayer and Torah study and the witness of hundreds of transformed lives. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Infinite One, who spoke light into darkness, who opened the sea for a people who had nothing, who fed a nation with bread from heaven, may he open the windows of heaven over your life and pour out such blessing that there will not be enough room to receive it all. May every false contract you have ever signed with poverty be dissolved in this hour by the power of his name. May your mouth become a vessel a bracha of blessing from this day forward, so that what you speak, you build, and what you build is eternal. May the chains of financial bondage that have wrapped themselves around your family line for generations be broken at this moment. May your children and your children's children inherit not your struggle, but your breakthrough. May every door that poverty slammed in your face be reopened. May every opportunity that was stolen be restored sevenfold. May you become not just a receiver of abundance, but a channel of it, someone through whom the blessing flows so powerfully that everyone around you is transformed by your overflow. This is not wishful thinking. This is a priestly declaration, and it is spoken over you with the full authority of the Word of God that does not return void. Now, before you go anywhere, share this video with one person who needs to hear it today, not tomorrow, today. Someone in your family, someone in your circle, someone whose name just appeared in your mind. That name appeared for a reason. Be the messenger of this ancient wisdom for them, the way heaven arranged for this video to find you. Subscribe to this channel, because what I am releasing here is not entertainment. It is a course correction. It is ancient wisdom for a modern emergency. And what is coming next will go even deeper into the hidden Torah laws governing your financial destiny. Leave your declaration in the comments. Write, "My contracts with poverty are canceled." Write it publicly. Make it legal. Let the heavenly court record your declaration today. It has been my honor to sit with you in these moments. Go now and change your language. Change your contracts. Change your life. Shalom.